Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'll be diving into some speculation as to a playable class for the Kul'Tiran Human Allied Race. I'll start by giving the disclaimer this is just speculation on my part and it's just based on what I've seen playing through the alpha and the beta. With that, let's go and get into what we do know about the Kul'Tirans. First, the male Kul'Tirans tend to be a bit on the burly side, and the females, well, they're looking a little bit on the thicker side. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Other than that, the only thing that is confirmed from the data mining is that it would appear that they're going to be able to be druids, which is pretty cool because druids are one of the classes that humans have not been able to play in the game. However, given the Kul'Tiran storyline, and I won't get into any spoilers or anything like that, but it does make sense. It fits with the lore and it fits with the fantasy of the Kul'Tirans. And the playable Kul'Tiran class that I'm speculating about is also one that has been off limits to humans, the Shaman. And now let's get into my evidence. So what kind of magic does this kind of control over water? I'm leaning more towards Shaman. As we go through the Stormsong Valley questing area, you can notice there's certain things about this that kind of tend to make me think that Shaman may in fact be one of the playable classes for the Kul'Tiran Human Allied Race. Now, one of the big things that really let me go in this direction is the presence of elementals. If you see here, there is some sort of water or shocking, it's an elemental of some sort, and has very shaman kind of nature to it. But it's not just the actual like mobs in the area. You can see there's other like elemental based creatures in the area, mobs to kill, stuff like that. It goes further than that. If you look into the quest line, and again, I'm going to try and generally stay away from spoilers here, but if you look into the quests in this area, a lot of them involve doing stuff and interacting with other NPCs that are, I'm not going to say they're shaman, but they seem very shaman-like, which leads me to believe that there are Kul'Tirans, NPC Kul'Tirans, that have mastered the elements. And if they can master the elements, why wouldn't a player be able to master the elements? I mean, it just kind of lends itself to the idea that these people have been away from the rest of Azeroth. You know, they're not associated with the Horde or the Alliance. They're in their own kind of area. They've been isolated, much like the Worgen were. And the Worgen were Gilnean humans that, you know, interacted with the Night Elves, and because of their isolated nature and the situation just that their race basically grew and developed from, were able to learn the druidic arts. I think much in that same way, Kul'Tirans learn to commune with the elements. They're a seafaring class. They have a deep connection to the water. They have a deep connection to the wind, the storms. If dwarves with their deep connection to the earth could be shaman, why couldn't a class like a race like the Kul'Tirans also have that same sort of connection? And to me, it makes sense. And the more that I played through the Stormsong area, the more things that I found that tend to support this. Mainly, one of the main NPCs, Brother Pike, and again, I'm not going to get too much into his story, but a lot of the things that you do while questing with him involved him using abilities that have him manipulating water, and some of them seem very water manipulative for the purposes of healing. And lots of the other elemental forces at play in this Stormsong area really lend credence to the fact that there is maybe it's a different type of shaman that is prevalent in the Kul'Tiran society. Now, I haven't played through, I haven't leveled to 120, I have not finished out any kind of storyline. I've actually run through this this area on two different characters while leveling up, and it wasn't until I completely went through a little bit further on the first one that it really hit home that this could actually be a playable class. And the more I saw, the more it made me think that. Now, given that Kul'Tirans are not going to be available on launch, this is probably going to be a class that you're going to have to unlock similarly to how we unlocked Void Elves and the Nightborn and I'm saying the High Mountain Tauren, and the Lightforged Draenei. There's probably going to be some sort of unlocking scenario or thing or quest you'll have to do this. But even if you look here, the quests I'm doing involve using water in a sort of, I know it's just splashing them on it, but it's kind of magic, and it's the whole water element to it really does lend itself. Right now I'm going to go into another example a little bit further along in the quest line. All right, now we're back here on the next level of questing, and you can see here that some of the elementals still remain, but that's not really the main part of this questing area that I wanted to make you aware of. The main part actually is, if I can just kill these guys real quick. I'm Druid, but yeah, there we go. You'll notice that this quest involves us freeing people using what appears to be a totem. I don't know really another way to say it, but it pretty much looks like you're freeing these guys using a totem. What other class do we know that uses totems? I don't know. Could it be a shaman maybe? Let's have a look-see. Yeah, they call it an anchor of binding, but to me these look like giant totems. Again, there's a very prevalent water theme here. There's also a very prevalent mobs that can't seem to kill a druid theme going as well. By the way, I don't recommend the druid class, especially if you're playing it as a tank. Super boring. I mean, you can't die. I could sit here and let this guy wail on me forever and I'm not going to die, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show the hints of shaman being playable for Kul'Tirans. So you can see here there's more of these totem looking things. There's elementals all around, but let's fast forward a little bit and move on into the next quest line so I can show you some more examples. As you can see in this next line of questioning, we are doing a ritual of sorts. I'm not going to go too much into the story because I don't want to ruin this, but if you look at the magic that's being used, I guess you could argue a little bit that it's somewhat like a mage, but the calling of ancestors, the spirits, all this sort of thing, the ocean, yeah, there is definitely an old god influence here, but it definitely to me also gives a little bit of a ring of shaman, the shaman nature to it, especially when you add in the elements at play here. Let's move on a little bit further. All right, we're back in a little bit further in this quest line. I just ran back up to Brother Pike. You notice in the text here it says, "Tide Mother, what have we become?" Just one more reference to a very shamanistic way. The other shaman, they refer to the Earth Mother. There's lots more, and I could sit here all day and provide examples to you, but there really is a very strong shamanistic theme to this class, being a very likely playable class for the Kul'Tiran humans. It seems like there's a very strong theme there. I know there's old gods. Old gods are definitely prevalent in this zone, but I think it really does lend itself to them having a strong connection to the elements, and I really do think that shaman could be a playable class for Kul'Tiran humans when they become unlocked, assuming after max level and assuming you reached a certain reputation or whatever. But I think that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video or you want to see more speculation type videos, it's not really a huge thing I'm really into, but I do find some things interesting, and I like to speculate on what kind of future classes will be playable for our allied races, because there's not a lot of information about there. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it if you think I'm wrong, or maybe you have an idea of what other classes might be playable. But with that said, I'm going to call it, and I'll see you next time.